This is a horror movie through and through. Reminded me of last year's Alien Romulus. Reminds me of exactly the wish list I had for the Jurassic World franchise going forward. I just got out of watching Jurassic World Rebirth, one of my top 10 most anticipated films of the year. And I want to talk about my quick spoiler-free thoughts on the film. I'll be doing a ranking of the entire franchise early next week. And right after the film releases, I'll be doing a full spoiler review / breakdown and what we can expect from the future of the franchise. But I am so excited to talk about this film. I absolutely loved it on almost every single level, but I think it's working at a much higher level than most of the films in the original Jurassic World trilogy, and I think it sets up this world really, really well, which again, I'll talk more about in my ending explained video. It's Jurassic World. We have to talk about these set pieces, and like I said, the scale is here. But following this story of these group of scientists / extraction people, one researcher, and there's also a family involved. I won't talk too much about that because from the one trailer that I saw of this movie, that was not really included. It was not a big part at all whatsoever, and that is a great emotional core to the film. I do think that's one problem, and I'll get into that in just a second here. But yeah, the sets are insanely amazing. It had the people next to me, which they actually didn't want it to be Jurassic World for some reason. Apparently everyone else in the theater knew it was, including me. But anyways, they didn't know it was Jurassic World. They weren't very excited for it. And when they got to especially that water sequence, there's one specific moment, and then also the flying pterodactyl-like sequence, they were out of their seats. Their jaw was dropped. There's one moment in the final act, including that big mutated dinosaur you see in the trailer. Ooh, that shit is amazing. I went in with really, really high expectations because it was one of my most anticipated films of the year. But as we got closer to release, I got more and more scared just because this was the mystery movie at Regal and AMC Unseen. But press screenings, which I always go to, are not until next Monday, which is not a good sign at all whatsoever. They did influencer screenings about a week ago at this point. So they tried to get really great reactions, then only show it to the fans, and then finally show it to critics and people that are on things like Rotten Tomato or IMDb and stuff like that. That was not a good sign. But I honestly loved this film so much. I want to start at the very top with Gareth Edwards. I think he had an absolute vision and a dream come true with the creator. I don't think it's a perfect film, and I actually think that this film has a couple of flaws that the creator has as well. One thing that works phenomenally about the creator and Jurassic World Rebirth is just the fact that the scale is so present in every single scene. Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, Mahershala Ali, the list goes on and on. This cast was absolutely stacked, and I think they all did a really great job in terms of their general chemistry, but I think that's just the actors being great. My biggest flaw with this film in general is just the character writing. It does feel hollow to an extent, and the creator had inherent heart in it because of the story that it was trying to tell. This time around, that's not really the case, but I think as the film goes on, you build a bond between these characters, and it works just enough. I won't say it's perfect, and if you don't emotionally connect to them or you don't really find any sort of resonance, then you're just going to find this entire film to be hollow. I think Gareth Edwards was the perfect man to handle this. I think there are some story problems that are kind of just Gareth Edwards isms, but I think overall it's executed so well. I hate to say this, I might have watched an unfinished version of this movie. There's one scene including like Bronchosaurus, I don't know what they're called, the big vegetation eater ones from the first Jurassic movie, but obviously they're mutated here. Which, another thing the film does really well is they include old dinosaurs, new dinosaurs, mutated dinosaurs. It includes everything that you want, whether it's for 1 second or an entire action sequence. Everything you want is here. Anyways, it does feel like the CGI was unfinished to an extent, just in a couple of scenes. In other scenes, it looks absolutely phenomenal. The final act is perfect, and the way that the story evolves is so great. You can tell it's shot on film. It looks gorgeous just on a visual composition level, but I do think there's some CGI problems. I really enjoyed this one. I can't say it's perfect on a writing level, but I had an absolute blast. This is really the definition of a summer blockbuster, and it sucks that this isn't playing in IMAX. I will be checking it out in 4DX sometime next weekend, but I had an absolute amazing time with this one. I think everyone will enjoy this. I definitely recommend you going to theaters to check it out. Overall, initial reaction score, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. One of the better films in the World franchise, easily surpasses a couple of those original films. But yeah, stay tuned for my full ranking next week, which I'll keep talking spoiler free, and then a full spoiler review / breakdown right after the film comes out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.